Welcome. Today we are going to talk about everything first-time homebuyers, some things to consider, what to look for, and some smaller details that might save you a ton of money in the future. So as I mentioned, we're going to go through how to buy your first house, understanding what you want to consider when buying a property, some key mistakes and things people often overlook, and what are some key resources to follow. Now, before we start, understanding that using real estate experts is very important. A common term in real estate is a cheap accountant ends up being really expensive. Just to say, cutting the corners, trying to nickel and dime your way out of a big life-changing purchase like this one often bites you in the butt. So using your experts, and in this video I'll tell you where specifically to leverage them the most. So to start, you need to understand to buy your first property, you need to have a down payment. So it's typically about 20%, and for the sake of this video, an example will be a $500,000 house. So 20% of a $500,000 house is $100,000, and that's what you'll need to start. Now, saving before you buy is very important, and understanding the cost, because getting in this routine of saving and budgeting is going to be crucial, especially because there's a lot of different costs other than just your mortgage. So you could have taxes, maintenance for the property. Let's say some things are breaking. You might have a condo fee, and who's going to cut the grass or shovel the snow? Is that yourself? Are you going to pay somebody? Know that there's a lot more than just the price of the house that's associated to buying it. Now, to know how much you can buy, it's important to build your credit and your income. So your buying power, so again, how much you can buy, on average, is 4 times of what you make per year plus the down payment. So if we go back to our example before, let's say you made $100,000 a year, that would be $400,000 in income plus a $100,000 down payment, which will put you at $500,000. So if you want a $500,000 house, you can put up $100,000 and make $100,000 a year. Again, before you buy, you want to have all your taxes and other legal and financial documents in order. And this is where talking to a mortgage broker or a lender can be very important. They will also give you more information, and their job is to make sure you have everything put together well. So leverage these people. A lot of times the money comes out from the banks, so you don't actually end up paying them. You pay them indirectly by making the purchase. Finding your first property can be scary. There's some basic rules you could follow. For one, when you're looking to buy your first property, keep your eyes open. You are going to have a budget. So if you follow that rule that we said before, you're going to know the max amount that you could purchase, and look a little above, little below. What is the range of a house that you could live in potentially? Now, go see a lot of them and be upfront with your agent that you do want to see a lot of properties. Give them kind of what you're looking to have, whether it's a family or it's your first purchase. Maybe you're just by yourself. You're going to have some things you're clearly looking for. Finally, have a timeline. Is this your forever home? Is this a place that you're only going to stay 2 years? Know that when you're going in and adjust accordingly. Again, having a real estate agent is really important. They will do a lot of this work and help you as you do your day-to-day job, because this is what they do full-time. They're going to look for listings. They're going to try and help you out. They're going to try and guide you. And there might be some other things that are important that we'll go through this video. Now, our general rule of thumb is to calculate the cash flow. So if you rented out this house, how much would it cost to break even? So there's the internal factors, the things like the mortgage, the property taxes, the maintenance, the things we talked about before. These are the hard numbers that you're not going to be able to change. There's also the external factor. How is the location? Is it close to a highway? Maybe you're in proximity of a school, or you might just be in a really nice neighborhood. These things are also to consider, but they're a little more arbitrary. Something that you can use to see what the general rent would be after you've come up with your approximate number is you could talk to your agent to see what they would consider for the area. And you could also go on places like realtor.ca to see what are the current listings and how similar are they to your listing. What is some of those comparables? To keep going, let's say you found a house that you like. Now you're going to do a walkthrough. You're going to go for a showing with your agent They'll book a time that you can walk the building, see some of the flaws, and again, if we take this house for example, you know here that there are some problems. These are the obvious ones. You know that the floor or the walls need to be painted and redone, but keep your eye open for these smaller things like yellow ceilings. That means there was a leak coming from above, usually a water leak. Cracked foundation, meaning the base of the whole house is maybe a little wonky. And your HVAC, so your heating or your water tank. These things could be rentals, they could be really old, and your basic requirements, your basic, living standards are gonna be drastically impacted by the condition of these things. So try and keep these things in consideration. Now, of course, have your eyes open when you're walking the property. I hope you wouldn't see this as a 10 out of 10, but maybe if you're flipping it or if you're a little handy, you could do well with a property like that and give it your own touch. Finally, some of the last steps is to close. So when closing, you need to submit an offer. So if you like the property, you're going to say, hey, I want to buy it for, let's say, $400,000. And you're going to send that offer off to the seller. Something to consider are conditions. So you can put in the offer that you'll buy it for a certain price, but it's in condition of your financing. So if the bank doesn't approve you, unfortunately, you have a way out of the contract. If you do an inspection on the house and you find some of those big problems that we were talking about before, you have a way out. Or if there's tenants that are living there and they really don't want to leave and they're causing a lot of problems, or they're destroying the property, you may also have a way out. Conditions offer a way out or more negotiation. If you have an inspection and finally the HVAC doesn't work, you could ask for a reduction in price. Finally, have your documents lined up. This is where you're going to use your experts and they're really going to come in. Having a real estate agent, having your broker, and having lawyers, because you are transferring the ownership of a really big piece of property into your name. So you want to make sure you're not cutting the corners on these bigger things. Again, a lot of times the thing that you want to consider is if you're going to get screwed, it's not in the obvious situations. It's usually within the fine print. And when you're dealing with people that do these things full time, they understand the fine print versus us that usually just kind of skips to the bottom and just agrees to terms and services when there could be something crucial there that you're not seeing. So use your experts. Now, congratulations. Let's say you closed on your house. Here are some good things that you want to consider. Some things that may kill a first-time home buyer, not literally, but cause you a lot more headache, or what could make you a great first-time home buyer. Being impulsive is going to kill you. Just trying to jump the gun and put in an offer and just get it closed can usually bite you in the butt. Also, stretching your budget. So if you budgeted for $2,000 a month and you're pushing it and pushing it, it's going to get hard if something comes up. If you have a car payment or if there's some hard times, it's going to show when you're stretching the budget. Not using your experts again, cutting those corners, it's always going to reveal a bigger problem down the line. What's going to make you a great first-time homebuyer is understanding the numbers, being considerate, maybe even adding some contingencies. So you may come up with your own numbers of what it's going to cost you every month, maybe adding an extra $200 or $300 a month to see, do you have a cushion in case something comes up? What if your condo fee goes up? What if your insurance goes up? Are you ready for that? As well, seeing the potential risks. So like I just mentioned, you can tell that there might be a problem with the water tank in a couple years or the roof. Do you acknowledge those things? Do you know that there's a problem? And do you keep those things in the back of your mind with potentially an emergency fund that can help you out in those harder times? So again, try not to stretch the budget and go overkill. Understand what you're buying. Understand the potential risks that could be highlighted with your experts, and don't cut the corners. The experts make a big difference and they can help you out, and you can get multiple. You could get 2 or 3 inspections if you're really worried about something in particular. Finally, I'm not a financial advisor. I've lost and made thousands in a ton of different industries, including real estate, and I'm always open for questions, and my Discord is completely free. Now, congratulations on looking for your first home, and best of luck with everything. See you in the next video.